Welcome everyone. Thomas Montgomery, Smart Money Alliance and IIMFL. It's a beautiful Friday morning, November 6th, 7:59 a.m. Central. We get together most Mondays through Fridays at this time on this Zoom bridge to visit with our distribution partners about tactics, strategies, tips, sharing success stories, and certainly overcoming barriers and obstacles. We have a variety of different types of distribution partners. We have affiliates, free and easy to be an affiliate. Who wouldn't want to be, earn a great income, no sales. Secondly, we have financial literacy educators who are actually working with our clients during the 4-week mentoring process. They make on average $500 to $1,000 for mentoring each client and writing the key person policy. That's 15-minute appointments once a week for 4 weeks that they're doing. We have branch managers who really are our incubator managers. We've opened our first incubator. We have several others in process, and that's what our branch managers do. They essentially own and operate an incubator in their community, and we collaborate on that. And then we have joint venture partners. So with all that being said, regardless of which hat you wear or which seat on the bus you're on, we wanted to have one more discussion on the new Credit Boost program because there's a lot of questions and a whole lot of interest. So let's just cover some basics here and then we'll get into Q&A that you may have. And again, Q&A we handle through the question and answer box on Zoom. It's much like chat. This is a very basic sheet that you're looking at, I understand. But some of you are familiar with this, some of you aren't. So let's start with this pie chart at the bottom. And when I used to work for the bank and I would go out and do financial literacy at the work site, usually like lunch and learns, we'd often start or at least feature this graph because not everyone understands what drives your personal credit score. Now, I know that we're primarily here to help small businesses access capital. There's different sources of capital and each source has its own underwriting criteria. Some of the sources of capital look at personal credit, some don't, but many do. So this is a relevant topic. So let's talk about this pie chart for a second here. So this is what drives our credit score. If we start to look at what the biggest segment of this pie chart is, it's over here, isn't it? 35% of our credit score is driven by our payment history. I know that life can have its ups and downs, and there may be cases where we've not been able to make our payments. But what's most important is that we have a current illustration that we have access to credit and that we're managing that credit properly, that we're paying our bills on time. In the absence of current on-time payments, it's impossible to have a great credit score or even a strong credit score. I think so often people become fixated over the negative items that may appear. But what I want to also bring your attention to is having new current positive payment history is just crucial. So that's part of what we're going to accomplish with the credit boost. Now, I realize different people have different starting points, but especially for those individuals that do not have a good, healthy credit mix currently, meaning both at least one installment and one revolving account that's posting positively, that shows on-time history, they need a boost. And so certainly we're addressing the biggest chunk of the pie. What's the next biggest piece of the pie? It's down here in the red, isn't it? It's the 30%. This is specifically talking about revolving utilization. What we know is that the more of the available revolving utilization, think credit cards, the more of your credit card limit that you're using, the greater the risk that lenders would perceive you are, because maybe you're in distress, maybe you're not living within your means, maybe you're not not able to pay your bills fully. So in general, the rule of thumb used to be keep your revolving utilization at 20 to 30% or below. What I've seen through our experience is, frankly, getting that as close to 0% as possible is preferable. Now, there's a little bit of a gamesmanship to that, isn't there? One of which is that most credit cards, most revolving accounts, most extensions of credit in general, report to the bureaus once a month. So, for example, you could have a credit card and use that credit card extensively during the course of the month. But if you pay down as much as possible prior to the reporting date, then it's going to appear that you're using a low percentage. So again, the revolving utilization isn't how much you've used during the course of the month, it's how much you've used at the date of the reporting date. So what is it that we can do to be able to reduce our revolving utilization? Well, certainly we can pay down our credit cards. That's obvious. In some cases, that's not always possible or preferable. Maybe not possible because we don't have the cash on hand. Maybe it's not preferable because we have other uses of that cash that's more important. So what we can do is open a new trade line, extend our total available credit, and thus the mathematical formula dilutes the revolving utilization. So more than anything, we're addressing with the Credit Boost program almost 2/3 of the credit pie by creating new positive payment history for those folks that need it and reducing utilization. So let's go through these benefits, and then I'm going to get over to the press release that we sent out today. So what are the benefits of the Credit Boost program? We're going to build positive payment history. And again, you may look at that and say, oh, that's not a concern of mine. But for many people, it is. Either they don't have anything positive reporting or they don't have enough positive reporting. So this definitely addresses that. Number two, the reduces utilization. That comes back to what we're talking about, being able to water down or dilute the amount of revolving utilization without incurring the cost of paying those balances down, and then creating a healthier credit mix. So those are the three primary benefits that you and I can help, frankly, small business owners or others with. Now we're going to do that by adding two new specific strategic unsecured trade lines. And so the first of which is an unsecured personal loan. And the beautiful thing is, almost sounds too good to be true, but it's not. It's a 0% interest personal loan. And so that means it's an installment type of credit. It's a 12-month repayment term, 0% interest. And then secondly, we're going to add a $5,000 unsecured revolving account. And that's going to, again, help us build a healthier credit mix, show more on-time payment history, and if the client is carrying revolving utilization, it's going to dilute that. What I didn't list here, and it's probably my fault or oversight, is, and this may be obvious to you, but I think a lot of people overlook it. When we're trying to access more capital, not only does our credit score matter, also they look at what amount of credit we've had in the past. So you might say, well, couldn't I just go get a secured credit card? I can go down to my bank or credit union and get a $100 or $200 or $300 secured credit card. Wouldn't that be better? And the answer is no, it wouldn't be better, because now it's going to report as a $100, $200, $300 credit limit card. And so that small credit limit is going to fit into the algorithms that when we go on down the process and apply for more credit, more funding, when they see that we've only had a $300 credit limit, then the algorithms are going to typically offer us a smaller amount of new funding, even if our credit is in line. So that's why we like that. The 5,000 is kind of the magic marker. Now, if you want to go to your bank or credit union and put 5,000 up and get a 5,000 secured card, now we're talking. Now that's equivalent, but that's probably not practical. So this is a good option. Expected outcomes again. We do expect around a 100-point increase in 30 to 60 days. Now, the truth is, the worse the starting credit score, the more the impact. Some people are going to have 150 or more benefit. Others will have a little less. We don't know with exact science, but certainly we can look at the profile, determine if they would benefit from the credit boost, and if so, they can give it a try. There's no upfront cost, as you know. So the short-term benefit, short-term meaning 30 to 60 days, is it should be a 3-digit increase in their personal credit scores. And then secondly, what we anticipate is now we'll have increased access to capital because we have a better mix and higher scores. So this is just a quick talking document that I wanted to share with you. Now let me navigate over. And it makes me wonder if I was sharing that with you as we were going through, but let me stop the share for a second, and I'm going to pop up a new screen for you. And we're going to look at the press release that went out today. Give me just a second here and I'll share that with you. Okay, so we should be looking now at the press release that went out today, and we sent it to you, and then it'll be going out to the general public later today. All right, so the press release is handy. What I find is that sometimes press releases are perceived as more credible than a flyer. So while we do have a flyer, and I'll show that again to you on the Credit Boost program, this press release is handy. So we explain that the Institute for Improved Minority Financial Literacy, we're committed to narrowing the racial wealth gap by teaching financial literacy, improving credit scores, and facilitating the development of minority-owned small businesses, that we launched the Credit Boost program to increase access to capital. We clarify that weak personal credit scores are a significant barrier impacting individuals' abilities to finance just about anything. It impacts their access to housing, to transportation, and then certainly, as we're visiting about, impacts their access to capital to start or grow a business. Most people want to talk about removing derogatory items, what you call credit repair. We don't do credit repair, so I'm not here to state an opinion one way or the other. But what I can tell you is that adding positive credit in a strategic method using primary organic positive trade lines. And as we talked about, that would be one installment and one revolving. So I frequently talk to clients. I talked to one yesterday and she said, oh, I just bought some AU accounts. Everything's going to be fine. Well, AU stands for Authorized User, if you're familiar with that. And actually, authorized user accounts are not near as effective now as they used to be, because lenders understand that that's not really a reflection of your credit history, it's someone else's. So literally their evaluation or algorithms will peel off, in many cases, the authorized user accounts and leave you with what's just your primary account. Other people will say, well, I can go out and buy aged trade lines. That rarely works. While you can go buy an aged primary trade line, those trade lines are often identifiable by lenders, especially more sophisticated lenders, and that can red flag your whole file. So I don't sell trade lines, authorized user accounts, and if that's what you do and you believe in it, go right ahead. Our experience in terms of credibly building personal credit to increase scores is not predicated on buying AU accounts or buying primary trade lines. It's building organic credit, just as I described here. So again, in the press release, we go ahead and explain, because this is rather unique, right? Our approach to adding positive credit is not the norm. Having an unsecured personal loan with 0% interest, low monthly payments, again, divided over 12 months, no hard inquiry, so that's not going to impact our credit score or access to future rounds of funding. It typically reports on all three bureaus, as we talked about yesterday, it should report always on Experian and Equifax, and in some cases, TransUnion. And there's no proof of income necessary, no minimum personal credit scores. It's an instrument designed for this purpose. And then the $5,000 unsecured revolving credit line, again, we're going to see an immediate approval in almost all cases, even with bad credit. Again, it typically reports to all three bureaus. And again, there's no proof of income or minimum credit scores needed. So these are almost two surefire trade lines, organic, strategic, primary, that will help many of the small businesses that you and I are talking about. We're not here getting distracted saying, well, why are we talking about this so much? We've talked about it several times this week. Well, it's building the credibility of our clients. So many of the small businesses that come to us that's looking for business funding, they've not managed their credit very well in the past. And so they lack credibility in that regard. And obviously adding 100 plus or minus points to a personal credit profile using this strategy is going to make them look much more credible. Okay, so let me stop the share one more time, and then we're going to navigate over to a different page yet again, and then we'll get into your Q&A. So let me share this. Okay, so on the IIMFL website, let me go back to the home page. We got the credit boost page. We've got an embedded YouTube, a real brief YouTube that describes how the program works from the participant's perspective. We describe the 3 steps, free credit analysis. They can click there to initiate that. We'll build the boost, and we see the results that we've been talking about. And then if you wanted to submit someone, we'll recap. How do you submit someone and how do you get paid? So if you want to submit someone, it's painfully simple. Go to the bottom here. So again, I'm on IIMFL, Credit Boost, scroll to the bottom, and you can put in their information, list yourself as the referral source, click that bottom box, and we'll send it. What we'll do then is we'll send them the information to get started. We'll flag them as being your referral. So the submission process is very, very easy. How do you get paid? That was the second thing I said we'd cover. You're going to make $5 per credit point increase that we're able to help that client accomplish. On average, it's going to be 100 points. Could be more or less. We understand that, but that's the goal, and that's what we should expect. So do the math on that. You're making $500 by helping someone credibly, legally, effectively boost their credit. And the amount of work that you're doing is to go to this website, the iimfl.org website, and put their information on the inquiry form. Now, if they're already going through our capital raise program, then we're going to identify that this may be a needed resource, and we'll pick up on that on our own. But if you want to refer in someone specifically for this resource and get paid for it, then what you would do is you would submit the lead on the inquiry form here and check that bottom box, of course, put in their information and referred by you. So let's look at some of your questions that you have and make sure that everyone's crystal clear on this resource. All right, so Daniel's asking, can he refer in anyone, or must it be only people that are entrepreneurs looking to access capital for their business? And Daniel, great question. The credit boost is available to anyone. We brought this tool together because of our core target audience, entrepreneurs needing to improve credibility, but it works for anyone. So if someone's getting ready to buy a house, I'll tell you a really unique marketing twist, and it's off the beaten path, and you may dismiss this, but you can go to car dealerships, realtors, manufactured home sales lots, and let them know, hey, if you have clients that need a credit boost, to be able to qualify to buy a car, to buy a house, to buy a mobile home, to buy a camper, whatever it may be, they can refer to you. You can drive them through this. And again, we anticipate a 100-point credit score increase in 30 to 60 days. Now they very well may qualify for that mortgage or for that car loan or for that manufactured home loan and so forth. And so you can really become a resource, a quick and effective resource for business to business partners who are looking to get their clients approved for funding that they may already be facilitating. And then, of course, it fits very nicely into what we're doing in accessing business capital. Okay, so let's look at, thank you, Daniel, for that question. Brian asked, can you spend the $5,000 or personal loan on the credit cards you already have? I don't really understand, Brian, what you're asking, but I'll take a stab at it. What we're doing here for the 2 trade lines is adding specific trade lines for the specific goal of boosting personal credit legally, ethically, and effectively. It's not really meant to be part of their capital raise strategy if that's what they're doing. It's a specific targeted approach to boost the scores. So hopefully that answered your question, Brian. I'm sorry if I didn't understand it. Yeah, Monique is exactly right. AU accounts are becoming less and less effective. I mean, I have it's nothing impressive. I've got a Discover card, I don't know, as a plus or minus $20,000 credit limit. I mean, they make it easy. I could log on to Discover right now and add any one of you as an authorized user. And so might that help your credit score? In rather artificial sense, yes, but those types of trade lines, AU trade lines, are not going to have the same impact in helping you qualify for financing because it's not primary. We need to focus on primary trade lines. Thank you, Monique, for that confirmation. Jim's been inactive as an affiliate for a while, and so he's asking how to get plugged back in. So here on the IIMFL website, you go to the career page, Jim, scroll down a bit, see the affiliate section, and we relaunched our affiliate program. So you're going to click here to get started and get set up again as an affiliate in the new model. Thank you, Jim. Thanks for being on the call today. Barbara asked, can she submit herself? Absolutely. So you can refer yourself. I'm off the screen now, aren't I? Back on the credit boost. So yes, you can submit yourself, of course. Yes, ma'am. Michael asked, how do we track referrals? So we use Post Affiliate Pro to track commissions. And so once a commissionable event has occurred, you will be notified via email and you can log into Post Affiliate Pro. So that is how that works. Now, leading up to that, Michael, when you submit a lead, let's scroll back down here, you submit a lead, and then when we send them the DocuSign to enter into the agreement for the credit boost, which there's no upfront cost, you'll be copied or blind copied on the DocuSign. So you'll know when clients have officially enrolled. And then, so that's metric number 1, but that's not a commissionable event, right? They're not paying us anything to enroll into the credit boost. And then each month we'll pull their credit. We'll measure their credit score increase. We'll invoice them based upon the results. They'll pay us, and then we pay you half. We pay you $5 per point increase. And so you'll see that in Post Affiliate Pro. So I think 2 answers to your question. You'll know the client's on board because you're copied on the DocuSign. And secondly, it's in your back office of Post Affiliate Pro. You see commissions earned. Thank you, Michael, for asking. Galaxy's asking about landing page. And yeah, so there's, the credit boost is brand new, right? It's hot off the press based upon what we saw the need in the marketplace. Will we end up developing separate landing pages for the credit boost? Maybe so. The landing pages we've created, I don't want to exaggerate, I want to say at least hundreds, maybe thousands of them on the access to capital. We don't charge anything for those, but it requires resources on our side. So we'll make a decision here soon if we're going to do landing pages on the credit boost program. But in the meantime, certainly what you can do is refer folks here on the inquiry form at the bottom of the page. But we'll certainly look. And if you start to generate some volume, Galaxy, that's going to obviously build credibility that we should have a landing page for you. So landing pages for the credit boost is to be announced, just because it takes time and effort on our part. And we don't want to sell you a landing page, so now we're absorbing the time and effort to do that. So Kwong, just as was asked, so certainly you can enroll yourself in the Credit Boost program if you'd like to. And Brian asked on the affiliate. So our affiliate program is free and easy, and it was primarily developed to facilitate the growth of our access to capital offering. And Brian brings up a great point. All right, on the Credit Boost program, how's the sub-affiliates going to get paid? Right now, what we've said is we'll just split 50-50 with you, Brian. So you get $5 per credit score increase. And so that's the total payout. But you're right, we may want to reconsider that in the future so that there are going to be multiple tiers. Because Brian's point is, okay, he knows a lot of realtors. He gets realtors to start referring into him. Are the realtors going to get paid? Well, that's really between you and them if you want to pay them out of your $5. If you're making $500 and you want to slide them $100, I'm sure that they would be appreciative of that. However, probably the realtor's primary goal is to get someone eligible for a mortgage. So at this point, Brian, you can split your commissions, your $5 per credit score increase as you want. We'll continue to evaluate if we want to do something and build that into the whole affiliate model. Thank you, Brian, for asking. Anthony asked a good question. So would a participant drop out after the first 100-point increase or continue to the highest point? Well, I use 100 points as an example, and it's a very reasonable example. It's not an exaggeration or pie in the sky. That is what we would anticipate for the typical client that follows the guidance and adds these 2 trade lines that will report somewhere in 30 to 60 days. But it may certainly be higher than that. Anthony is asking, what happens after the 100 points? So we don't have some control to say, okay, you're only going to get a 100-point increase when really the benefit is 120, for example. So they will get the maximum point increase that the credit scoring algorithms allows, and then you'll be paid off of whatever that total increase is. It's not capped at 100. Thank you, Anthony. Michael asked, by participating in Credit Boost as an affiliate, how does it connect to access to capital? Well, I guess there's a couple answers to that. That's a good question, Michael. So again, the Credit Boost program came about not because we want to get distracted. It's our role, your role, our role is to help improve the credibility factors of small businesses so they can access capital. And credit is obviously an important one. Now there's business credit, which we're not talking about today, and there's personal credit, which we are talking about today. Are there some sources of capital that don't care about credit worthiness at all? There certainly is, but also there's many that do care about credit worthiness, which makes sense. So this is a resource that we make available to our existing clients if they need enhanced credibility in this area. In those cases, you really need to do nothing, Michael, right? You've already referred the client in. We're working with them. We realize that they would benefit from this, so we help them get set up. There's nothing different that you need to do in that regard. And frankly, by them having better credit, they're going to access more capital, most likely, and even more quickly. And on the access to capital, you're getting paid off of the capital raise. And so you would benefit in that regard. In contrast, the Credit Boost program is available on a standalone basis. And so by referring people in, as we've talked about a time or two on the bottom of this page, then under that circumstance, then you'd be paid $5 per credit score increase. So hopefully that answered your question, Michael. Thank you. Okay, and again, your feedback is crucial. So I'd love to get feedback from you, Annette and Anthony and Barbara and Barry and Kwong and Daniel and Doug and Galaxy and James and Jim and Joseph and Julius and Margaret and Monique and Michael and Pauline, Robert, Travis, Will, and others. You know, what do you think about this? Do you think we're spot on? Do you think that there's something about it that's not ideal? Do you think it's not needed? Or are you finding that all the small business owners you talk to already have optimized credit? So again, not looking for a pat on the back, but the way that we get better is through exchange of ideas. And so we're not looking for what's called groupthink, everybody just say, oh yeah, that's great. But it's essentially, can you get behind this? I mean, there's some of you that I've talked to over the past 48 hours that say, you're just going to lead with this. You're going to go out to realtors, loan officers, bankers, car lots, manufactured home lots, market on Facebook, a no upfront cost credit boost program through a 501c3 nonprofit that will generate on average a 100-point credit score increase. I mean, that's sexy, if you will, in terms of marketing. You could make a living just off this, especially when you know that you're going to generate on average $500 for referring a darn name, email, and phone number on here. Now, of course, that is contingent upon them enrolling in the program and participating, but your amount of involvement stops with just putting them in here. Now, if you want to take a little more time and educate them, of course you can. The YouTube videos here, but ultimately it's painfully simple. We'll get back to what Galaxy was asking. We'll evaluate the growth of this program. And if it has some real merit as a standalone offering, I don't know that we're going to be able to avoid setting up separate landing pages, but we'll give that a little more time. All right, so let's see here. Monique says it's definitely much needed. She's going to launch a promo on this. Yep, thank you. And it's important that we have no upfront cost offerings. That's unusual as compared to most credit building strategies. And then secondly, we're really focused. We're not competing against credit repair companies. We're focusing on adding strategic primary unsecured trade lines. Michael says he sees many that can benefit. I agree. And I think, especially as the market starts to open up where more in-person education is available again. Yeah, I used to I didn't say all the time. I frequently would go out and do credit workshops. I'd go to churches, apartment complexes, different hosts, and teach on credit. And so if that's something that you want to do, we can get you engaged in that, especially as we get into the new year and more markets open up. And but you could do it virtually as well. But using that pie chart that I showed you all ago, just helping people understand how credit scores are measured or calculated and what you can do to quickly manipulate legally and ethically your score is enlightening for many. And so, yeah, just anyone that has questions, certainly we get together daily, but you can also email us. And then our phone number, which is answered live 7 days a week, is down here. But, this program's pretty simple. If you have a lot of questions on the Credit Boost, I've probably done a really piss poor job because we've given you a lot of information. The YouTube is here. I sent you the press release. There's no upfront cost. It's just There's a flyer here. It's painfully simple. There shouldn't be many follow-up questions, but if you have some, let us know. Okay, let's see here. Travis wants to be one of our credit referring specialists, and we may even want to brand this a little bit different. I think there's remarkable upside to just this offering. And again, we developed it because we need it for our small business clients. But as Travis is thinking, this could be a significant gig right here, just leading with this. All right. And so we've sent out the press release. If you're wanting to edit that, we need to just think about that a little bit. I think what we would want to do probably is drive people to you. I don't know that we want to edit the body of the press release, but we can visit offline about that. And so ultimately, here we are. It's 8:34, 8:35 Central on Friday. We've had a tremendous week, thanks to many of you that are out there educating, promoting, helping small businesses. You have yet another arrow in your quiver, not to be a change or a distraction, but we're going to continue to evolve to solve problems. And that problem is what's keeping small businesses from accessing capital. And frankly, personal credit is impacting a good number of our clients. So we've got a solution here we can all feel very proud of. If you want to go through it, go through it. If you don't want to go through it, I don't care. But the bottom line is it works. All right. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you back on Monday morning. Same time, same place. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.